What's the one thing motivational speakers and teachers cannot live without? I tell you what, bitching. And nothing makes them happier than bitching about procrastination, which, when they say it, somehow always comes out as some sort of fatal flaw that dooms you to live a lively existence in your parents' basement. Knitting sweaters for your cat, collecting antique cutlery, drinking milk before bed, and practicing magic tricks. Wait a minute, this one's kinda cool.
Remember, kids, every minute you're not working, a puppy loses its wings, a baby tuna drowns.
Yeah, sure, Jan. Let's cut through the crap and talk facts here, though. First of all, what most teachers call procrastination is good old daydreaming. Procrastinating is simple. You're simply trying your best to stay away from your task for as long as it's humanly possible, and then squeeze in 24 hours and 60 minutes! But daydreaming is kinda different. And science says it's not just for losers. So apparently, while you've been staring at the wall going over 1,000 different scenarios of how your crush is reacting to your cringy tech, you remember that? Have a chance. She'll be embarrassed. Yeah. Your brain has been bench pressing neurons or whatever. Ever heard of default mode network? No? Well, here's some fancy name-dropping knowledge for you. The default mode network, or DMN, activates when your brain is at its most creative, allowing a flow of spontaneous, imaginative thoughts, which happen when you're zoning out, baby! That's right! Baby, yeah! But before you start feeling all creative, the length of your Oscar's acceptance speech depends on where you are on the daydreaming spectrum. Naturally, it's a graph time! Some don't even notice when they are daydreaming. It happens so quick.
1 minute later.
Most of us goofs are located in this range and spend from 1 to 4 hours daydreaming daily. And the third type, well, they stream Lord of the Rings Director's Cut on repeat for the majority of the day. For the rest, they watch cat videos on Insta. Never Google maladaptive daydreaming. You're good as you are. So science is saying that
He who controls daydreaming becometh the superhuman.
to prove that, let me just give you a few things that you can actually throw in your parents' face without consequences. Here are some notable examples of daydreaming changing the world for the better. We all know this charming champ, Salvador Dali. As one of the most influential artists of the 20th century, Sally practiced the so-called paranoiac critical method. So called because the dude kinda came up with it himself, so I decided to name it too. I call it Delulu Malulu Salulu technique. For all I care, no one will move a finger, Sally's dead. On the daily, Dali transcended reality in his daydreaming routine. He'd intentionally wind himself into paranoia and do all kinds of disturbing stuff, like keep the cabinet doors open or wear dirty underwear, all in order to achieve the next level of creativity. I think we can tell. Suffice to say, he is the author of The Great Masturbator. Speaking of greatness, Albert Einstein. Apart from being a fashion icon, he is famous for a shy couple of discoveries, and arguably the coolest one he invented during a casual daydream sesh. While on a walk, he zoned out and started daydreaming about what would happen if he was riding a moving beam of light. Usual daydreaming stuff, nothing genius. Anyway, after he was rigging the wave, he realized that the wave would look standing still to him since they would be traveling at the same speed. Or in simple words, Albert meant that gravity is not a force between masses, as Newton proposed, but rather the effective curvature of space-time caused by mass and energy. Next we have Canilingus. This eccentric scientist invented PCR while daydreaming. It kinda earned him a Nobel Prize and pussy on tap. Ding ding. Anyhow, before he became, how to put it, a bit too controversial in his beliefs, Mullis was a lab rat working 9 to 5. After one Friday, Mullis was driving home, bummed out about breaking up with his bae. And to run from it, like any ordinary bro, he started daydreaming about chemistry and stuff like that. Which, by the way, is very dangerous. And that's when he came up with a breakthrough idea. A method to identify the most minute fragment of a DNA and then reproduce it in virtually an infinite number of times. I have no idea what this means, but it had to be big. Because a few years later, his invention, PCR, was everywhere. From our noses to our... So now the big question is, how do you turn your daydreams from Netflix binge sessions into a Nobel Prize? Here's what I googled. Come here. First off, scheduling. So just like you reserve time for binge watching cat videos, you can carve out a slice of your day for pure unadulterated zoning out. Or you can use the Pomodoro technique. Work for 25 minutes, then give your brain a mini vacation for like 5 minutes and go back to the grind. Why Pomodoro? Dude, I was not responsible for naming it. Were it up to me, I'd call it Cock and Power. Next, write a to-dream list, or something like that. Ever heard of the staircase effect? Nice shirt, dude. Did your mom pick it out? Nah, your mom did. Right after I pulled it out of her ass. Looks like someone's been watching Bridgerton. Too late, and you would have been punched in the face anyway. Better daydream about something useful, like cooking up killer ideas on how to solve world hunger instead. Here's a short reminder on how to do it. Note it, read it, copy it. Finally, let's talk about boosting that brain power. It's all about training. Start with some hardcore activities, or reading a book that doesn't have pictures, or watching a video till the end, okay? Got it? Perfect. Follow with more advanced though, like focusing on one thing at a time. But no matter how you decide to go about them, you should embrace your daydreams rather than fear them. And the next time someone tells you to stop daydreaming and rush back to work, tell them you're busy building your brain six-pack. Or...
Hey! Not nice.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
You need to leave? No.